Welcome everybody. I'm so glad you guys could join us for Ask Evelyn Wednesday. This is, I believe, I'm not even gonna guess which episode we're on, but super excited to see you for Where Does It Go Wednesday.
I think it's episode 9. I think we're on.
Episode. Thanks, Pat. That's that's why
Don't
we're a good team.
If you don't count the practice one, we're on to 9.
All right, awesome. So thanks for all of you who are joining us. We're really excited to see you. We've got a really fun show. It's so beautiful today, which is nice. So we're going to be outside, and we decided to take the show on the road so we could follow up with you guys on our challenge and tip of reuse in the garden from last week.
Hey.
All right, so I'm a little bit out of order, but here we go. I'm Becca Fong, and I am the Residential Solid Waste Outreach Planner for Seattle Public Utilities, and I'm joined with my awesome co-host.
Yeah, as well. My awesome co-host as well. My name is Pat Kaufman. I'm the Commercial Recycling and Composting Program Manager for Seattle Public Utilities.
All right. So we've got a really good show for you guys today. And as always, it's powered by your questions and your comments and just your thirst for knowledge about all things recycling, compost, and garbage. So please, if you would like, go ahead and send us questions in the comments. We will try to get to them, but it moves pretty fast and furious. So if we don't get to you during the show, we will get back to you, hopefully in the comments, or always. Please send us messages on Twitter, Facebook, or email them to askevelyn@seattle.gov. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, today we usually do 2 questions. This week we're going to do 1 because it's kind of a big, we got some milestones coming up. A big one that's been, just I can't believe we're at this point. I don't know how else to say it, but it's graduation time. It's right around the corner. So we've got, Pat's going to take us into our first question right now that has to do specifically with graduation. And then another really exciting event that's coming up in June as well.
Right. Okay. Great. So yeah, it is that time of year. It's a great question. Very timely. Comes from Sam. Sam asks a question on the topic of reuse, less consumption, gift ideas. Dear Evelyn, I never know what to give as gifts. And with graduation and Father's Day coming up, what are some gift ideas that have a reuse, less consumption slant? Celebrations feel even more important this year, and I want to do something fun and not just buy a bunch of new stuff. So that's Sam. Thank you, Sam, for that question. I mean, there's so much to talk about in gift giving,
I know, right?
So, but it's good. It's nice to have some parameters for gift giving. And so we're talking about graduates. Let's just talk about them mostly, I think, because I don't really want to go into the Father's Day stuff too much. So and we talked about this a little bit beforehand. I really think it's fun to try and provide something that holds meaning to you as a person to give to someone, rather than going down the aisle at the department store and finding something that jumps out at you in that moment. To find something, maybe a reuse item, something that has been beneficial to you, something that you value, that you can wrap up and give to a graduate, something like a family heirloom maybe, or something with just value in that respect. Do you have any thoughts on that, Becca?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just kind of thinking, and I've got some nieces and nephews that are graduating from high school, and it feels like it's so important to celebrate incredible milestones in life, right? And gifts are really kind of an embodiment of that sentiment, right? And right now it's like we're all apart, but we're all in this together. And how do you figure out a way to celebrate those young people who've had their lives completely turned upside down in a way that as an adult I have a bigger perspective, but for those high school seniors, those college graduates, like, this is huge, right? Their whole lives have kind of culminated in this point. But I'm gonna reel myself back in here and get back to the topic. But
No, that's
I
great.
agree.
That's why I turned it over to you, because I knew you would give it this broad, great perspective of the moment that we're all in, and it is different. And so taking a little more time to get just that right gift is gonna be tough, because not all the stores are open as well. So
They're not all open, and the things that we would normally do, I mean, it's just life's just really different, right? And the way we interact with the things in our houses and the things that we need, that has really shifted quite a bit. I think back a lot to, I think the idea of family heirlooms, things that you can pass on, things with a story, right? Like, that's the whole point of a celebration, is that it's a marker in time for a super important moment. And I think something that you can have that tells, your recent graduate a story, something that connects them to their past. They're looking forward, and something that connects them to their past, your shared past, and how that past helps them, how has helped propel them on their future path
Sure,
is, I
sure.
think, a really great thing. And an example of that would be when I graduated from high school and I was moving to go to college, my parents gave me a small suitcase. And, it wasn't anything fancy, but it was something that had been in the closet forever. And it was something that my mom had used quite a bit as she had traveled and grown and, just taken with her. It was just a regular suitcase that she had picked up along the way, but it had been something she had had for a long time and thought it was something that I could take with me on my travels, figuratively as I was going to college, but also into life. And it's something that I've kept. And honestly, I've had a lot of bags because let me tell you, I like bags. Um, but that's really stuck with me. And I think that that was really, really important. Full disclosure, too, a big part of Chinese culture is also giving money.
Ah,
That's something that is not always appropriate in every culture, but I got a bag
yeah.
and I got, some money to kind of get me started on my journey. And I thought that that was really lovely.
And
And
that's,
honestly,
yeah, I mean, that's typical too, I think, for graduates is
yeah,
you know, so
definitely.
I think, I mean, just hearing what you said, I think that taking something that it's not the gift per se always, but it's the feeling that you get or the connection that's created, like you said, via the gift. When it was your father's or grandfather's or mother's or grandmother's or something like that, then it's that momentary, that feeling you get in the moment, not necessarily what it is.
Right.
So I think that, but the same can happen in a purchase gift
Oh,
or
totally.
whatever gift.
Totally.
Still be that, meaningful item moment to share. So yeah, I think, and then like gift cards, we talked about that a little bit. It's a very common thing, and it's
Sure.
actually, in the world of consumption and whatnot, it's not a bad option because then you're not giving someone a gift that they maybe just put on a shelf or just don't ever use, and
Yep.
therefore all the inherent investments in that item are all for naught. So
Totally.
better to give them the option to find the thing they want to add to their life moving forward.
Sure. I always used to joke with folks who kind of wanted to wrap their brains around the act of giving money. And I said, money is always the same size, always the right size, and always the right color. So gift cards
Right.
have kind of filled that void, which is great. And I think, again, the whole sentiment of a gift, if you would like to buy something new because it's meaningful for that graduate that you want to celebrate in your life right now, I think choosing things that are more sustainably produced is a really good option, something that's going to last. I think that those are things that, they're going to carry forward. I mean, I think about all the things that, think about all the things that we needed when we were moving or graduating or, those things we couldn't afford for ourselves that feel really special when you can do that for a graduate in your life. Just definitely look for something that's, being made in a sustainable way and something that's going to last.
Yeah, there's a lot of that to look for in packaging as well of products. Recycled content in packaging is a great thing to look for. Actual recyclable packaging in products that you buy. The actual product, having, there's the product and there's the packaging around the product. So there's two layers of things to consider in that respect. Absolutely. I think buying experiences, that's another thing that we talk about a lot each year during the holidays is
Yeah,
during the end of year holidays when you have a lot of gift buying, and to emphasize the purchase of gift that are experiences. Basically, they're going to a show, going to a ball game, going to a concert or something like that. So, and a lot of those outfits right now, they are happy to sell the gift cards for a future date to be determined
sure.
because
Absolutely.
they're just not doing much right now. So that's the only chance they got to kind of keep cash flow going. So, looking local, buy local is a whole nother layer, which I think we're going to see more and more of that a little bit.
Sure.
That right now, very active in the restaurateur sector is the food service businesses. A lot of people are, favorite establishments to try and do that. And the grads getting them restaurant gift certificates, yeah, depends on who it is. So those are some options as well to do that.
Yeah.
I think,
So I think that I hope that we gave you
yeah,
guys
sure.
some good choices. I mean, definitely think about something that you can regift, something with a story that's really meaningful to celebrate your recent graduate. I think look for something that is built to last, right? Something that is built in a sustainable way. That's great. We talked about recycled content. We also talked about buying
Yeah.
local. We talked about, finding different ways to celebrate them with experiences as well. You can do that locally, whether it's through restaurants. I mean, one of my nieces, I thought about like, boy, it would be great to get her a set of concerts, a concert ticket pack at the
Sure.
Showbox. I don't know if they do that, but she would love that, right? For when times are different. So,
Well, the one other thing I want to mention that is also a thing that, back in the family heirloom or sort of gift giving are like photo albums,
sure.
memories. That the whole creation of something, crafting, like making something is another whole nother area of like gift giving that, we haven't really touched on. So that's another great thing for folks to think about. And there's still time. There's time to go out and get the things you need or dig through the basement or the garage to find the things you need to assemble something. It's kind of fun. So
Totally. So I would actually really encourage you folks, if this has been helpful, we would love to see what you guys come up with or some of
yeah.
your other ideas. I think that, these folks are so meaningful in our lives and you kind of get stuck like, oh my gosh, I want to find the perfect gift. But it's really that sentiment. And we would love to see what you guys have ideas for to celebrate people in your life, not just graduates, not just Father's Day, weddings, babies are being born. There's all these great things, and they're all really great, bright spots in life right now that I feel like we need to celebrate now, probably even more than ever. So, all
Okay.
right. So the whole reason we are outside is that last week our kind of tip was to show you garden reuse. So I'm hoping, bear with us folks, I'm hoping that my Wi-Fi connection holds on for me. Mine's always been a little bit dicey, but Pat and I are going to take you to see a couple of DIY things in our gardens. So I'm going to try to unattach you guys from my little Instagram live setup and take you with me real quick, and then let's see. So I'll give you a little preface here. Let me see.
All right.
So we're
Let's
coming
see
on
what
the south. We're on the south side here of where I'm at, and we are late on starting our starts. So, but
Okay.
the nights aren't quite warm enough for stuff that's got to be 60 degrees in the ground. So what we built was a little DIY greenhouse.
Sure.
It's not the most beautiful thing you ever saw, but what it is we took an aluminum frame and kind of, got it to hold its shape together. We got some plastic sheeting out of the garage, leaned it up against the south side of the house. You can see all that really great condensation there. That's really warming those little babies up. And then we have it kind of tilted on the ends here, so you can open it up and you can see my little starts inside.
Thank you. It looks great where you're at, by the way. I'll show you a little bit of our place here. In our backyard, we'll get out in the sunshine here. In our backyard, we have some chickens. So I want to show the chickens first because chickens are so fun. Let me get over here in the shade of the tree. And I'm going to switch us up so you can see the forward view of the girls. So there's the girls. How
Oh,
you
there
doing,
they are.
girls?
Nice.
Yeah. So they have their pen and their coop, and all that. And then there's the garden shed and whatnot. So all that's reused lumber, things that we gathered over the years and reused from an old fence and whatnot. And then I can show you over here the actual garden. This is my reuse item that I wanted to show, and it is this device to hold up the vines. And so
Oh,
that
nice.
is real. We're talking about. It's taking some bamboo from a neighbor's yard, and it's just assembling it together with some old wire. And I can't take credit for this. This is my wife, and it's based that on her work that she saw over here. We don't have it installed right yet, but my sister-in-law built this one here, and
Oh,
that's
nice.
just fine in bamboo. You can see it's more aged, but so yeah. I mean, in the garden, we really try and just some of the products that are out there are really good though. So we use some of that to get some of the vines going. But the bamboo one, and then just reusing downspouts, and the those are old fence boards from another neighbor's fence, and we just used them and cut them up. And they wanted a fresh new fence, but we reused those boards there. So those are my thoughts. Those are my garden sharing examples that I wanted to share
Cool.
and tell.
Fantastic. maybe one thing that we can do is take a couple of the specific things that we did for reuse. Maybe we can share those. Oh, I may
Ah,
have lost you. Did I lose you, Pat?
I think technology challenges are interrupting us again. Unfortunately, I'm not
Okay.
seeing of you. So there you are. You're back. I can see you.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. Sorry about that. So I
It's just
think that what I know, that's just how it goes. Um, so I was thinking, because we had some connection glitches and it's hard to tell where they came from. Maybe we could take some pictures of the different reuse items that we had in the garden and we can maybe share those. Um, I think that technology is kind of telling us, all right, here we are. So for next week, we talked a lot about looking at um, kind of the online sharing economy. And so our challenge for
yeah.
next is if we find that we need something, try to procure it through the online sharing community, whether it's a buy nothing group, whether it's Craigslist. Try to make sure that if you find that you need something, you're going to get it used first. So we'll see how we do on this task. I have no idea what I might need this week, but we'll keep you guys updated.
I'm kind of a what's the word? I don't know, addicted, I guess. I'm really into Craigslist free button. A lot of people don't realize there's a free button on Craigslist. It's the best. I mean, I need there's just a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of stuff. I have a nephew who's moving into a duplex this week, and I'm encouraging him, like, dude, you got to check out the free button because you can pick up a dining room set just like that. You can pick up
Oh,
a clothes dryer or whatever. So there's things out there that if you know, if your standards aren't super high, then you're definitely in good shape. So I just think it's great. The reuse community. Then there's also, as you mentioned, the Facebook groups, and then
yeah,
there's next door.
groups. Yep.
Or also have at the bottom they have a little advertisement section. You can buy stuff used too. It's not just for
Sure.
free.
Totally. I mean,
Those are
eBay,
good.
all of those things.
Yeah. So
All right.
I'll challenge. It's not a problem for me at all. I'm happy to spend some time this week looking on those different platforms for items. But the real challenge that I'll give myself at the moment publicly is that I challenge you to, get away from one of those platforms.
Yes. Yeah. I
The
think
other
that's
direction.
it's true. We have generally a rule in my house: if something comes in, something's got to go out. So
Yeah. Oh, I love that story that you have when you take your kids to the thrift store when they reopen. You'll be able to do this. When you say, okay, we're gonna go to the thrift store, you can get a new toy, but you got to bring a toy or two with you to drop off, right?
yep, they always
That's
have. I tell them that we're getting toys there because other kids have done the same thing. Toys that are still in good shape. Other kids have gone through the same process and they've decided that they are done playing with them, but they still have a lot of life left. And I want them to make sure that they're choosing good quality things that they're done with for some other kid to enjoy. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's great.
Uh, all right, folks. Well, Pat, don't get too much stuff and make sure that something goes out. Well, we'll
All right.
update you guys next week. Thank you as always for joining us for Ask Evelyn. We really, really appreciate that you tune in, and we love when you send us our question. When you send us your questions in either our comments on our various feeds or to seattle.gov. We love to hear from you. Please, please, please send your questions in, and please, everybody who's watching right now, please invite 2 people to come and join us next week to see what we're
Yeah,
up to.
it's a pyramid scheme. We're trying
It's
to
totally,
here.
it's totally a pyramid scheme. So we'll see you next week on Wednesday, 11:30 for some more trash talk. And we hope you guys find this as useful information from your utility. With that, I'm Becca Fong. Life's simpler with less stuff, people.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right.
All right. Take care, folks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.